Are there any good white people in the world?
There may be, but it doesn't matter. And you know why? No matter how good an individual white person may be, they have an obligation to look out for the best interests of the white.
Right now, if you had them prepare themselves in whatever way they would have to prepare themselves to come to battle, and I bet what I have, everything I have, that meatloaf.
And for the first time, there was a new school of thought that was chemically induced that made people question the very society they lived in. By 1960, the President of the United States was only 42 years old. Can you imagine? DMX is older than that. And he was going to usher in a new era of peace. He was going to avoid the Cold War. He was going to end segregation. And they blew his brains out in front of everyone in Dallas. This country was never the same.
This dude screaming, crying, saying, "You fuckers did it right now. I don't want to hear nothing from you self-righteous libs, Democrats. We're coming for you." Knowing damn well the person that did it, y'all know what it is. Betty White.
We need to talk about how Charlie Kirk's fans are already trying to pin the blame on black and brown communities. All because people aren't mourning a man who once said black people were better off before civil rights, since he claimed there was less crime back then. Can you believe that?
Actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed
The same people who mocked Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, and so many others taken too soon are now furious about how folks are reacting to Charlie Kirk. The double standard is wild. Black celebrities are jumping into the conversation too. Some are keeping it diplomatic, but others aren't holding back at all. They're openly saying they feel zero sympathy. 50 Cent even dropped a post so bold it got him pressed into deleting it. Now things are getting even more heated. Some of Charlie's own followers are allegedly making threats, while those same voices stayed silent about the victims of the Colorado school shooting that happened just hours after Charlie was shot. Amanda Seales spoke out and flat out said she has no empathy for him. Then Dr. Umar stepped in, trying to walk the middle line, warning that celebrating Charlie's death isn't the way. So what do these reactions really show? Is it just shock value, or does it expose something way deeper about the divisions in America? Stick around, because I'm breaking down exactly what these celebs said, what got deleted, and why their words are shaking up the whole conversation around Charlie Kirk's assassination.
And women and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been.
The first big name to jump into the chaos was none other than 50 Cent. And in true 50 style, he didn't drop some polished statement or condolences. Nope. Instead, he posted a screenshot of the moment Charlie Kirk was shot with a caption that said, "Want to know how I feel about this? I don't know, but I do know it's a good time to shut the F up." Of course, that set off a firestorm. Charlie Kirk's supporters lost it, calling 50 heartless, insensitive, and even accusing him of celebrating the assassination. The comment sections went wild, with some fans saying 50 is over and demanding he be canceled for good. Things even escalated with disturbing threats like, "Hope you are next." And it looks like the backlash hit hard, because that post didn't stay up long. 50 quietly deleted it within just a few hours. But not everybody thought 50 was wrong. Plenty of people defended him, reminding everyone that Charlie Kirk built his whole brand on dismissing black pain, spreading racist conspiracies, and mocking victims of police brutality. So the message was loud and clear. Don't expect sympathy for someone who never showed any empathy in return. One fan even wrote, "I'm not feeling no sympathy for someone who would call me every slur in the book. Sorry, bookie." That comment lit up fast, and then DL Hughley stepped into the mix, and you already know he didn't hold back. First, he shared a TikTok video pointing out the irony of Charlie once saying that it's worth having some shooting victims here and there if it means he can keep his guns. And yes, that's a direct quote. Charlie really did say those deaths are worth it.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
But DL Hughley didn't stop there. He turned the heat all the way up. He shared a video of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson asking for prayers for Charlie Kirk and his family. And DL wasn't having it. He called out the hypocrisy, asking if Johnson ever did this for victims of school shootings, or even for Congresswoman Hortman and her husband Mark, who were killed. Then when news broke that Trump ordered flags at half-mast for Charlie Kirk, DL snapped again, pointing out how Trump actually raised the flags back up when they were lowered for the Pope. And yet no such honor was ever given to innocent children or Congresswoman Hortman. DL's point was sharp. Is this a tragedy? Yes, but does it deserve that kind of national ceremony? He made it clear. You already know the answer. And to top it off, DL highlighted the biggest irony of all. Charlie Kirk and his supporters always mocked empathy, calling it weakness, and even saying it was a made-up term. But now they're demanding the very empathy he claimed to hate.
In the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. But
all kinds of people on the conservative right, they talked about empathy as if it was a pariah, empathy as if it was a moral failing. And it's interesting that they would call themselves Christian and be anti-empathy because that is the tenet, the core tenet of Christianity. But in America, nothing is more American than violence against people we disagree with and then having a lack of empathy when we don't relate to them. That's not Christianity. That's not humanity. That's tribalism.
But DL still wasn't finished. He came back with a video compilation titled Hate and Bigotry, Charlie Kirk's Real Legacy. And it didn't stop there. He also posted a clip of Charlie flat out denying that George Floyd was killed by a cop and even bragging that he wanted Derek Chauvin released. That alone set social media on fire. Then DL dropped a bigger bomb, hinting at the theory that Charlie might have been taken out by the very same people he spent years defending. DL wrote, I just want to remind everyone that when someone shot Trump, immediately it was the radical leftists and the liberal extremists, and it ended up being someone from his own side. And then he added in the caption, remember, when you point a finger at someone, there are 3 fingers on that hand pointing back at you. Now let's be clear, DL wasn't out here celebrating anything. He was breaking down the optics, showing how violence is judged differently depending on who's involved. But of course, Charlie's fans didn't take it well. They accused High of deflecting from the tragedy and making excuses for the shooter. On the flip side, a lot of people agreed with DL, saying these folks are just looking for a reason to spark a race war, and they're mad because black people are simply minding their own business and not taking the bait. But DL isn't the only one catching heat from Kirk's supporters. Amanda Seales is getting dragged too. During a live chat on Instagram, Amanda made it crystal clear she wasn't about to force empathy for Charlie Kirk. When people commented telling her to show compassion, she clapped back by pointing out that Charlie himself didn't even believe in empathy. Amanda explained that she simply can't put herself in his shoes because there's nothing about his life or his views that she can relate to.
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing. He said it's some new age made up shit. He also said people gotta be sacrificed in order to protect guns. If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy. But this white on white violence, he died? Damn, B, life comes at you fast. Because I cannot be in his shoes. I have no frame of reference for that. I have no cognizance for that. There literally is nothing about his existence that I can relate.
Now, you already know Charlie's fan base came hard for Amanda Seales, calling her every name in the book. And it wasn't just white commenters either. On X, plenty of black men were piling on too, throwing around insults like idiot, sociopath, and worse. Meanwhile, others were saying she should be stripped of citizenship, deported, and even ranting about so-called black fatigue. The hate was nonstop, but Amanda wasn't standing alone. She had a wave of defenders pointing out Charlie Kirk's long history of racist anti-black rhetoric. They argued Amanda wasn't celebrating death at all. She was just refusing to fake sympathy for a man whose public platform caused so much harm and division. But here's the twist. Dr. Umar Johnson didn't take the same route as Amanda. Instead, he turned the conversation on black people themselves, saying all the jokes and memes about Charlie's assassination had crossed the line. Umar dropped a statement on his IG saying, "While I did not agree with Mr. Kirk's rhetoric and considered him an anti-black bigot, I will never rejoice at the loss of life of anyone who hasn't directly taken part in harming a member of the black African race. I am ashamed to see members of my community celebrating this situation." He went on to say, "I will never ask you to mourn the loss of an enemy of our race, but to celebrate a killing is completely unacceptable. We know all too well that the greatest victims of political assassinations in this country have been our own people. Stop laughing at the misfortunes of others and get prepared. Political assassinations have returned to the United States of America, courtesy of the deep state. And just like that, the internet exploded. Chaos everywhere. And it looks like the storm is only going to get worse from here. But here's the dark truth. Whoever carried out this assassination got exactly what they wanted: more division. The country feels more split than ever. And these reactions prove just how quickly violence can be turned into a weapon to pit us against each other. Celebrities, politicians, everyday people. Everyone's got something to say. And all that outrage is exactly what the act was designed to spark. So what do you think about the reactions from 50 Umar and the rest? Are we even capable of having a real conversation about the bigger picture? Or is the divide too deep now to see that we're all being played by the same puppet masters? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I'll see you on the next one.